Several players, including Cam Coleman, are primed for a major spring.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Join me as he does every single Charlie Tuesday is the Charlie 5 Auburn message board legend, also known as Kyle Rush. He's the man over at thebarnauburn.com. You can sign up. What is it? $75 for an annual over at
$25 off for 2025.
Yeah, there you go. So go hop on that, thebarnauburn.com. Look, Kyle, there are several guys that are primed for a major spring. The portal is closed. Auburn can still add people via the portal, but Auburn's roster is safe for the time being. The next time somebody can enter the portal will be after A-Day. And to me, like there's several guys we're going to get to, but I know there's a lot of attention on Jackson Arnold, but it kind of seems like to me, Cam Coleman is going to be the guy that everybody's going to be looking at this spring saying, all right, we saw glimpses of it. How does he take that next step forward? I think Cam Coleman's primed for a major spring this year.
I'm with you, man. He's, again, towards the end of the year is whenever we really started seeing what he could become. He kind of got out of being a freshman and he was looking more like a second or third year player there towards the end of the year. And with another spring under his belt, I'm with you. Like what a big jump I feel like you could see, which is scary to think about is him getting better. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. And I mean, we heard it took him a little bit to kind of get the routes and the timing and just kind of the comprehension of everything in spring. And then in fall, when they really kind of pushed it, it was interesting to see, like, okay, is KLS wide receiver one, then Cam Coleman's going to kind of be brought along, which is exactly what happened. With Eric Singleton in the fold, I'm going to be curious to see who they kind of treat as wide receiver one, because you can make the argument for both. Cam takes that step forward, that natural ability, but also Singleton's kind of done it at a high level. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see Cam essentially doing everything KLS did last year. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess, if I had to predict, or if I could have it my way, I would say whatever you did with KLS, do the exact same thing, but just put Cam Coleman in those positions. Put Cam in all those positions and let him be that guy, and let Malcolm and Eric be sort of the cleanup crew. Do a little bit of everything else, but let Cam be that guy. Let Cam be KLS, and it should be a natural little transition. It shouldn't be that big of a learning curve, I guess, at all, because they were doing a lot of the same things. It just looked like KLS was option one. So now you just slide Cam over there to be option one and let those other guys be the cleanup crew.
Which then the great debate is, like, was Peyton just more comfortable throwing to KLS, or was it the scheme and that's what the reads were? Because it did seem like there was a noticeable pivot late in the year, and Coach Freeze and Peyton said that, like, that wasn't the plan to throw it to Cam 8 times or whatever. I don't know if I fully buy that, because, like, why wouldn't that be your plan? But whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever you did as far as getting Cam Coleman involved in the passing game, do it from the jump. And I think just the dynamic of having Eric Singleton and Malcolm Simmons as part of that room as well. Does Perry Thompson take that step forward? Horatio Fields, does he kind of demand any specific attention? I want to see Cam Coleman be the leader in that room as a true sophomore. I don't care about his age. You look at Cam Coleman, you know that guy's different. The way every player that I've talked to on Auburn's team talks about him, says that the guy's different. I just want to see it. I want to see him take that step forward. And I think we do. This spring. Who's the guy on your radar where you're saying, all right, I'm expecting a big spring from this guy?
I hate to stick with the same room, but if you really think about the competition and the number of reps that you have going around, there's not a lot of returning wide receivers coming back that are going to be here for spring. I think you could see Perry Thompson. I think Perry Thompson is one that I would think this is a big opportunity for him. I mean, you're only going to have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 wide receivers for spring. Six scholarship wide receivers for spring. Derek Smith. I'm sorry. Maybe Sam Turner comes. I can't remember if Sam Turner is a early enrollee or not. I know both of the Smiths are not. I know Derek and Eric come in, but you're only going to have 6 guys for spring. I mean, Perry's going to get a ton of reps in spring, and he's that guy. He came in late last year, came in the summer. This is a time where you can really focus on him getting a lot more opportunities. I think he could take – he to me just seems like if he just gets reps, if he gets more opportunities, that's how he gets better. It's not so much the aspect of it. I think he gets better the more opportunities that he gets. So that's one that I'm looking to hopefully take a big step forward.
Yeah, I wonder where his reps come from. I'm with you. They're certainly going to happen, but where is he on the field during those reps? Because you look at him, it's like this guy screams outside receiver, but it's like you got Cam Coleman. We'll see where they put Eric Singleton. We'll see where they put Malcolm Simmons, but you got to think those guys are going to almost be opposite of each other. I can't see both those guys playing the same role because you want them on the field at the same time, but we'll see. Horatio Fields screams outside wide receiver. And like, I don't know, like, can you put Perry in some of the way that you use Rivaldo Fairweather last year when you used him more as a wide receiver instead of a tight end? That's interesting to me.
I would adore that. If that were the opportunities that he got. He got a little bit more of the Rivaldo Fairweather role because I think he's a willing blocker. I would almost say he's probably more willing blocker than Rivaldo was. If he could handle a little bit more of that role, you want to talk about carving out a niche for yourself at 6'3", 225, 230 pounds. You're talking about. You're getting NFL GMs' heads are starting to turn around and take notice. If you can make that position work, I think it could be something that could be his little niche to where he can get on the field, regardless.
Yeah, because I don't know who else could do that, like that large slot role. I mean, Fields could, Horatio could totally do that. He has. You're right. And so is Perry like directly competing with him? Possibly. Is he brought in to mentor Perry? Possibly. But you got to think Perry wants to be on the field. And I think this spring, you've got to show Perry, hey, you're part of the game plan in 2025, whether he is or not. I think you've got to show a lot of these guys, hey, you've got a 100% chance to be in this in 2025.
And you have the perfect opportunity because, like I said, you got 6 scholarship wide receivers for spring. So you got the reps to divvy up. You got opportunity to spread around. So you definitely got to do it because if you don't, that spring portal's lingering out there. So it's definitely something you want to show them now.
It's lingering and it's lingering.
100%. And lingering. Yep.
So I just want to look this up real quick. Perry Thompson played 80 snaps at out wide. And he played 20 snaps in the slot last year. That's actually more than I thought he played.
That's 20 more than I thought.
In the slot?
Yeah, I thought he was almost
I don't really remember him in the slot that much.
Out wide. I don't either.
8 of them were in week 4. Who would that have been against? Arkansas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, so take that for what it's worth. Look, there's a pass rusher. A second-year Auburn guy, not a second-year player that I think is primed for a major spring. More on Keyron Crawford next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Rocket Money. Kyle, can you imagine using Rocket Money or not using Rocket Money and just like realizing, oh my goodness, I'm paying for all of these subscriptions. I had no idea.
I can't. I mean, you're just throwing money away otherwise.
Let me ask you this. 2025 is pretty much here. Everybody's got their New Year's goals and all of that. Do you want to be worse off with your money in 2025?
I'd prefer not to be. I prefer to be better off if it's possible. It's on the table.
I mean, Rocket Money is going to go a long way. Sure. And if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to be worse off with my money in 2025. All you need to do is head over to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. I am so high on Keyron Crawford going into this spring. Now, I'm going to be honest, Kyle. I'm going to be honest. The first few weeks of the season, I was very concerned with Keyron Crawford. The lack of containment and just like seemed a hair slower than everybody else. And it's like, goodness gracious. And now that was kind of our concern of like, okay, can he take that step from playing in Arkansas State to the SEC? And it took him a second. But those final few games of the year, you're like, yeah, this guy belongs. He's ready to go. So you lose Jalen McLeod. And I kind of thought, I wanted Auburn to go after, a few of these edge guys in this portal window. I think they did go after him, but they ended up saying, hey, we got Amaris Williams back. We'll talk more about him in a second. But we're okay with the guys that we got because I think they believe in Keyron Crawford. I think with what they saw over the last few games last year, they liked what he put on tape. And I think with another year kind of to acclimate to the SEC, I think he's going to be ready to go. I'm expecting a big spring out of Keyron Crawford.
He afforded you so many options by his sort of explosion or his emergence there towards the end of the year. That pass rushers are expensive, okay? Especially pass rushers in the portal. And I honestly was kind of I didn't even really feel like, especially once Amaris Williams came back, I didn't even really feel like you really needed one. Maybe you get it for competition and depth, but you got young guys. And then you got Keyron, who all of a sudden, towards the end of the season, became arguably one of the better players on the field. When you talk about from a pass rushing perspective, contain everything, the light came on, and the thing that he allows you to be able to do now, the things he allows you to be able to do now on defense, I think are invaluable. And having him sort of, one more spring, that 2-year transfer, man, that transfer with 2 years of eligibility are just, they're huge, especially, when you get the production out of Keyron that you got, and then you get to roll it into this next year. I love it, man. I'm with you. I think he could really, really explode, and he's at that is a money-making position, and he's going to be making some money this year.
Yeah, I mean, folks are going to look at Jalen McLeod just because it's so important. Like, if you can't rush the passer at any level of football, you are going to lose. Another thing, there's two things I want to talk about. I'm debating which one I want to go to first. So the interesting thing about Keyron Crawford is, we talked about Jalen McLeod this time a year ago. It's like, all right, it's time for him to take that next step. And he did. He did for sure. The beautiful thing about Keyron Crawford's situation, and I'm not saying he can't be as good as J-Mac was last year. I'm not saying that. Please don't mishear me. But I don't think he has to be as good as Jalen McLeod because of the supporting cast, because of Amaris, because of Keldrick, because of these guys like, Jamonte Waller, Joe Phillips. Like, there's so many guys that can take that step forward. Malik Blockton in the interior. Like, I don't think Keyron Crawford's job is going to be as difficult as J-Max was.
That you're right, because if you think about the guys that were sort of emerging that helped draw the attention away from J-Mac, those are young guys, and it was only flashes that you really saw. And now those young guys are going to have another year under their belt. So the pressure you're going to have to the pressure you're going to put on Keyron is going to be a lot less now, because there's threats elsewhere. There's threats coming from other angles. And like you said, really frees him up to kind of be just really go out this senior season with a bang. Yeah.
Keyron's best 2 games in conference. Kentucky, he had 3 pressures. And then Texas A&M. He had 4 hurries and 5 tackles. I mean, he was really solid in both of those games. Which one of those 2 games have in common, by the way? I'm just saying.
I can't believe he didn't register a sack. It felt like he had multiple. He got screwed a little bit because
he has one. PFF gave him one against Arkansas.
Okay, ESPN doesn't have him as 0. He got screwed a little bit because
does ESPN hate Keyron Crawford? People are asking.
It could be a bias, and would not shock me. But he ran a lot of his sacks into DeMarcus Riddick. a lot of DeMarcus Riddick
Yeah.
sacks, Keyron should have at least got a half a sack there. But
oh my goodness, I didn't even mention DeMarcus Riddick when we were talking about the supporting cast. So yeah, the list goes on.
The list goes on. He is everything you love about an edge. Keyron's got it. You get another year of that kid, man. He's going to do big things.
And a full off season because he was a spring portal guy last year, right?
He was.
Yeah.
He did not have the opportunity for spring, so he came in. He was one of the Will Redmond specials.
Yep,
Will Redmond special.
Oh, what a guy! What a guy!
Love him.
Who else in your mind expected a big spring from?
I want to go to the offensive line. Look, everybody is looking at the returning guys. You're looking at, and your guys coming in, your Xavier Chaplins, your Mason Murphys, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a big, big spring for DeAndre Carter. I think this is a big spring for him. And the reason being is he didn't get a lot of playing time last year. He played in that very last game, I believe, that ULM game. But there are people that that are just raving over who this player this kid's going to become, this player this kid is, the development that he had over the time he was here. I think this spring is big because he could kind of solidify himself as the heir apparent, I think, to one of the sides, left or right. And especially if you think about it, especially because of all the guys you just brought in, you're really building the competition. And I think this is a big spring for him because you go ahead and solidify yourself so those young guns aren't biting at your heels. They're always going to be, but you kind of put yourself in a position to really take over. I mean, this kid was a 4-year starter at one of the most powerhouse
Matter Day, right? Yeah.
Powerhouse high schools out there. So he's got talent. I think this is a big spring for him to really, really cement himself as a part of this, the future of this offensive line.
Yeah, DeAndre Carter played in 3 games, played 9 snaps against Alabama A&M, 12 against New Mexico, and 19 against La Monroe. So not a whole lot of snap counts. And I guess if I'm DeAndre Carter, I mean, obviously your goal is to crack, the starting rotation. I don't know how realistic that is, but I guess the realistic goal would be, can you prove and make the case that you're the 6th guy? Because I don't even think it really matters like who would go down, because if it's a tackle, you're probably moving Dylan Wade to tackle and you'd slot him in there. And then obviously if it's a guard, it would make sense to put DeAndre Carter there. So
you want to be the 3rd guard. You want to be number 3 guard. That's who you want to be, that you can play, where you can play either side. It's a grind, man. So you got to be ready to go. And if you can, I think he can get himself to where he's that number 3 guard, where he's first off the bench if something were to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's manageable. I mean, I'm trying to think who he would need to pass. I mean, he'd need to pass
maybe like a Dylan Cinda.
Tate's still there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at the offensive line right now. Oh, Braden Joyner. You got I forget about Braden Joyner who played a lot.
That might be a big ask.
Yeah. I mean, he started a lot of games last year. Mm-hmm. So I still think DeAndre has
how nice is the situation though. With offensive line, it's like, okay, like some of the guys you don't want to start, but it's like, oh, that's like the 8th lineman. It's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Such a different world. Such a different world than a few years ago.
Depth is fun. So
we've got like 4 tackles, and it'd be like, okay, I feel okay playing them. Like, what?
Yeah, man. And you get 2 tall back if he wants to come back. That's to me maybe the
tall back. Yeah. And then I mean, I'm still higher on Seth Wilfred than most people are. It's like, all right, like we got options. That's great.
Yeah, and technically Seth Wilfred now is going to be
he's like still in high school,
a redshirt freshman,
essentially.
I guess that's how that works. I think he's like a redshirt freshman or something.
I guess if eligibility doesn't count, which is awesome. That's great. Whatever. All you got to do is sue the NCAA. They'll give you more time.
Forever.
Yep, that's right.
I wish we had a keeper. I wish you could get a keeper on defense and offense and just they play forever. It's until they're 35 or something.
It's like can we pay KLS more than the NFL? Like, can we?
That's all it's about. As long as you can pay them more than they can make in the NFL, you get one.
It's like
keeper.
What, you're a day 3 draft pick. It's like we can pay you $1 million a year, right? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we can compete with that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
If you could do that, what's your position on offense and defense?
It'd be KLS for sure.
Okay.
And on defense, it'd have to be a linebacker just because of position of need. Or D-line. It'd either be Philip Bleedy or probably Mausi.
Yeah, that's if I had to pick a linebacker, that's who I'd pick. I'd want J-Mac to have another ride.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
KLS and J-Mac. Let's let them keep her. You get to keep them until somebody better comes along, then you can keep them. That's how it should work.
Which if somebody comes along better than either of those guys, yeah, we take that.
You're doing good.
We take that in a heartbeat. No, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Auburn's biggest win of the portal window was keeping Amaris Williams. When we expect big things from him this spring as well. That's next. It's a Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate here on Locked On Auburn. He, of course, with thebarnauburn.com. Go subscribe today. The biggest portal win was not losing Amaris Williams. And you just got to kind of put yourself in the mindset of like, if Auburn didn't have Amaris Williams and they went out and got Amaris Williams, we'd all be over the moon. We'd all be over the moon. And I think that kind of flew under the radar a little bit as far as additions. And it's like, let's count Amaris Williams. I think we should. I absolutely think we should. But I just think with the questions of the defensive line, because Auburn is down several bodies, and you got to think they're going to add guys in the spring portal window. That's what they did last year. And a lot of those guys that they added, those role players, they were fine. Rakes was fine. Bleedy was fine. I don't think you need a game changer there. You just need dudes who can be role players on the defensive line. I think they're going to be able to find that in the spring window. But I think with a guy like Amaris, his versatility allows you to do some different things if you need to scoot guys in or scoot him in and move guys around to kind of give you a little bit of depth there. So I think it's a big retention for more, I guess, more reasons than one.
Yeah. I mean, hey, anytime you can hang on to the third best player in your recruiting class, you should be fired up. Cause I mean, he was very, I think he's almost crazy. He's almost underrated in that class, the way as highly rated as he is and as little talk as he actually gets. Having him back. And then also losing TJ Lindsey. If you lose TJ Lindsey and Amaris Williams, you're a big deal. It's a much bigger deal. That's why I think it's even a bigger deal to get him back, because you lost TJ Lindsey. Man, I wish he's not committed anywhere yet. I wish we could get him back. I wish
TJ Lindsey's not.
No, he's going to he's visiting Purdue on tomorrow, I think. And then I just saw he had another visit that just popped up. He's visiting something.
We need to all just send him a link to the Auburn Purdue basketball game.
Yeah, or Auburn Purdue Music City Bowl. There you go.
That's it.
That's what you did. Yeah.
The Jarrett Stidham game. That's right.
God, you just got to feel, man, I really wish we could get him back. I mean, he's going, like I said,
we're trying.
Purdue and Nebraska. He's going to Nebraska next after Purdue. So
I was told Arkansas for him, like right when he entered the portal. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's supposed to get back to home or whatever. But then like he didn't go there.
He didn't go there. And he's visiting other places.
And it's like the path to playing time seems pretty clear here. Like, what does he want?
I don't know. That's a great question. I'm with you. The playing time is there, in my opinion, on the line this year. I mean, you're still trying to find guys to fill a few roles that I think that he was kind of part of the plan to fill those roles. So
yeah, he could be that 3 technique or end. I mean, I'd rather have him than some spring portal edition.
Completely. I'd rather have him over all the guys, I guess, that are available currently. I mean, you can only get right now what's available. So you're either going to have to wait for somebody else.
I'm not too blown away by the defensive tackle class. I'm like, not at all. Dallas Walker's fine. Like, he's fine. I don't think we're bringing him in to, be Marcus Harris, right? I think we're just bringing him in to be similar to what Rakes was a year ago, which is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But the upside that TJ Lindsey has versus all of these guys, like, it's just like TJ's not proven, but his upside is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's just keep him here. Like, I wish that would happen. That'd be great. I don't see it happening, but that'd be great.
Who knows? You never know. He hasn't picked anywhere yet. So I guess if you really want him, maybe you could go get him back. That'd be massive.
If you're watching, TJ, please come back.
Please come back, TJ. We love you.
We love you so much. You got another guy? You got one more?
Yeah. Let me take a quick little peek, really quick.
So no,
I don't. I don't have one off the top of my head.
Okay. All right.
But I will say this. One guy that I expected to go into the portal that I think has the ability to get in and play. No, it's not a running back.
Oh.
I really thought JC Hart. We heard so much good things out of him in fall camp. And then for whatever reason, he kind of fell behind. But from a physical gifts, he has all the physical gifts that you can ask for. And he didn't portal. Yeah. He loves Auburn. This could be a really big spring for him.
Local kid. And like, I don't know if this staff fully knows how to use him. Like, is he playing receiver? Is he playing corner? Like, what is he?
Listen to this, though. Just listen to this depth chart for spring. Okay. You got 9 corners. Okay. Mm-hmm. 3 of those are freshmen, incoming freshmen.
Okay.
And then you have Ryan Strader that's coming in as a transfer. Mm-hmm. Champ Anthony and Tyler Scott, both still injured. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's not a ton. This is kind of like the wide receiver scenario.
Unless the freshmen are better than him.
Correct. Unless the freshmen are better than him, which Blake Woodby's going to be tough.
Is Blake Woodby better than JC Hart right now? Like, I'd probably say yes.
Are they even the same position? Like, is JC Hart going to play nickel or is Blake going to play nickel? I don't know. He didn't go into the portal. He's got a lot of physical traits that you really, really love in a cornerback. Mm-hmm. You heard a lot of good stuff out of fall camp last year. I just think he could possibly have. This is a big spring for him too.
That's a great answer. Kyle, Charlie 5. How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Absolutely. First off, subscribe to thebarnauburn.com. Like we said, $25 off for 2025. Get an annual subscription for only $75. You get part of all the information that we drop every single day. Basketball, football, portal, high school recruiting. High school recruiting is about to kick back up. The evaluation
26.
period is opening soon. You're going to have junior days coming up. A lot of stuff. You got to be prepared. The best way to do that, subscribe to thebarnauburn.com. And then you can catch me anywhere you get a podcast at the Top Button Podcast.
Yep. Please do it. Subscribe over to thebarnauburn.com or on YouTube, The Barn. Just search that. And then you can also find another one of my shows there that I do with Brad Law called Village Vice and Kyle
Jackson.
Yep. So much action. Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.